Before you click away thinking this is another clickbait title, let me be clear about the word illegal. None of these will put you in a courtroom. They're illegal in the sense that your Nissan dealer, your service advisor, and the shop on the corner would rather you never found out. Because everyone costs somebody money the moment you learn it. Some save you a $200 bill for 8 minutes of driveway work. One is a free procedure Nissan requires and most shops skip. And number one is something your Nissan has been secretly recording about you for years, that a dealer can pull up and read. 17 tricks. We start at number 17. Number 17, the tire pressure trick. Your door jamb sticker says a number, your dealer sets it, and your mechanic checks it at every service without questioning it. Here's what that figure actually is. Not the optimum for your tires, but the minimum safe pressure for the maximum load your Nissan is rated to carry. Biased toward ride comfort because a soft ride sells cars on a test drive. Most of the time you're carrying yourself and some groceries, not 5 adults. Running 2 to 3 psi above the sticker cuts rolling resistance and the tire deforms less, putting steering through more directly. Owners report 1 to 2% better highway economy and sharper turn-in. 2 rules: check them cold, or heat gives a false high reading, and never exceed the maximum on the tire sidewall, a completely different number from the one on your door. 90 seconds, $0. The next one is a service your dealer charges $200 for, and it comes with a free step that almost every shop skips. Number 16, the throttle body clean and idle air volume learning. Every Nissan past about 50,000 miles has carbon building inside the throttle body. That's not a defect, it's chemistry. Oily vapor drifts back from the crankcase, mixes with dust, and bakes onto the throttle plate. As it builds, the computer holds that plate further open to hit target airflow, and you get an unstable idle, cold start hesitation, stalling at a stop, and a car that feels lazy. A dealer charges $150 to $200, and the whole procedure is a tech spraying cleaner into the bore and wiping it with a rag. An $8 can does identical work. Now the Nissan-specific part, and it's why people end up worse off than when they started. After cleaning, the computer has lost the settings it learned around the dirty plate, and you must perform Nissan's idle air volume learning procedure. Skip it and you get a high, surging idle sitting well over 1500 RPM and often a P0507 or P2101, when a healthy Nissan idles somewhere around 650 to 750. It's a free, timed pedal sequence you can do in your driveway, engine warm, air conditioning off, wheels straight. That's free and it's the step nobody performs. But it means nothing if the sensor feeding your computer is quietly lying to it. Number 15, the MAF sensor cleaning. Nissan mass airflow sensors are famous for 2 things. They're among the most commonly replaced parts on these cars, and they're incredibly easy to destroy while trying to help them. Inside is a hot wire element finer than a human hair, measuring how much air enters the engine. Dust and oil mist coat that wire, its resistance drifts, and it reads low. Your engine runs rich, and you get hesitation, stalling, black smoke, and a P0101. Here's what makes it worse. A dirty sensor throws no warning light. Because it's still functioning, it's just wrong. It's one of the most common causes of poor economy that no code will point you toward. Dealers replace it for well over $100. The trick their own techs use first is a $7 can of MAF sensor cleaner. Spray the element from a distance. Never touch it with a rag or swab. Never use brake or carb cleaner, and let it dry 10 full minutes before it sees power. That's the sensor. The next trick is about the part sitting right in front of it, and you've been throwing money away replacing it. Number 14, the air filter you keep binning too early. Your dealer tells you to replace your air filter on a mileage schedule. Both the 15 and 30,000 mile recommendations assume you do one thing: bin the old one, fit a new one, pay. Here's what that ignores. Filters load up based on where you drive, not on a calendar. One that's seen 5,000 miles of gravel is more restricted than one that's done 20,000 on clean highway. Your car isn't the average case. Pull the filter, hold it to sunlight, look through the pleats. If light comes through, it's still flowing air. Blow it out with compressed air from the clean side outward, pushing debris back the way it came. Know when to stop. Dark, packed pleats or a deformed edge seal means replace it, because that filter is the only thing between grit and the sensor we just discussed. Clean air in. The next one is about clean electricity, and it corrupts every sensor reading on the car when you ignore it. Number 13, the battery terminal trick. Corrosion on your battery terminals is a slow gas leak. You don't notice it until something fails, and by then you've been paying for it for months. That crusty powder is electrical resistance, and here's the part shops never mention. Every sensor reports its readings against the same ground network running through those terminals. Dirty connections create voltage offsets in that reference, so your oxygen sensors and airflow sensor can be perfectly healthy and still feed the computer garbage. People replace expensive sensors over what was a 5-minute cleaning job. The fix is embarrassingly simple. Disconnect the negative first, mix a tablespoon of baking soda into warm water, scrub the posts and clamps with an old toothbrush, then rinse, dry, coat with dielectric grease, and reconnect snugly. Shops charge $60. Check the main ground strap while you're down there. Now the electrics are honest. The next one takes 10 minutes, and half of you have never opened the panel it hides behind. Number 12. The cabin air filter. This one hides behind your glove box, and what surprises people is what's sitting in that tray. Plenty of Nissans are driving around with a filter packed into a solid gray brick that nobody has ever touched. If yours is clogged, you're pulling road dust, pollen, and the exhaust of the car in front into your lungs, and you'll notice a musty smell, windows that fog, and vents that barely push air on maximum. Here's the one that costs real money. Owners decide the air conditioning is dying and start pricing compressor work, when the problem is a filter choked so solid almost no air gets through. The job takes 10 minutes and no tools. Drop the glove box past its side stops, slide the old filter out, note the airflow arrow, and slide a fresh one in for $15 to $40. A shop charges $70 to $90 for the same 10 minutes. That's the cheap one. The next is a 2-tank experiment that settles an argument with data instead of opinions. Number 11. The premium fuel trial. The argument over whether premium fuel does anything in a car that doesn't demand it never dies, and the honest answer is that your engine will tell you in 2 tanks. Here's the mechanism. Your Nissan has NOx sensors listening to combustion, and the computer adapts ignition timing to what it hears. Feed it fuel that knocks, and the engine quietly pulls timing to protect itself. You never see it, you just drive a duller, thirstier car. Higher octane consistently lets the computer advance timing back toward the aggressive side of its map, and on a turbocharged Nissan, that matters far more. Record your economy over a full tank of your usual fuel, then run 2 consecutive tanks of premium over similar roads, because the adaptation needs time. And compare. If the gain covers the price difference, premium is free performance. If not, you've settled it with your own data and never wonder again. Now one that's pure Nissan, and it's the reason your fuel pump keeps clicking off at the gas station. Number 10. The EVAP vent control valve. If you've got a P0448 or the pump nozzle keeps clicking off every time you fill up, or you failed an emissions test for no obvious reason, this is almost certainly your problem, and Nissan has issued bulletins over it. Here's what's happening. Your evaporative emissions system captures fuel vapor in a charcoal canister and needs to breathe through a vent control valve. Nissan mounted that fresh air intake under the back of the vehicle, where it pulls in dust and sand, and on gravel roads, it packs solid. When the valve clogs, the system can't vent, the computer sees a fault, and the pressure at the filler neck is what shuts your pump off mid-fill. The dealer's answer is a diagnostic fee plus a new valve and sometimes a canister. Owners have cleared the whole thing by dropping the canister, blowing the dust out with compressed air, and cleaning the valve for nothing. If you drive dusty roads, expect it to pack up again. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right. And don't forget to subscribe. Number 9. Coolant by chemistry, not calendar. The industry sells coolant flushes on a mileage schedule, which is a guess designed to generate revenue at predictable intervals. What actually decides whether coolant is protecting your engine or eating it is chemistry. Fresh coolant sits mildly alkaline, and it's the inhibitor package, not the color, doing the protecting. As it ages, that package depletes and the pH falls, and once it turns acidic, it attacks aluminum, water pump internals, and plastic housings. A cheap pH strip from an aquarium shop tells you in 30 seconds where yours stands. Now the Nissan part. Modern Nissans use the blue long-life coolant, which is non-silicate and comes pre-mixed 50-50, so you do not add water to it. Nissan's own bulletin is clear that blue and green can be mixed, but the mixture then only carries the shorter service life of the green. So topping up your blue with whatever green jug is in the garage quietly halves your interval, and nobody tells you that. The next trick is 15 minutes on a quiet road, and it makes your brakes stop the car measurably shorter than they do right now. Number 8. The brake bedding secret. New brake pads fitted today are not performing at their rated stopping capacity, and almost nobody tells you. Brakes work through transfer film. Pad material lays a microscopically thin, even layer onto the rotor face, and that becomes part of the friction interface, filling irregularities and creating uniform contact. New pads on new rotors have none of it, so contact is high spot to high spot and friction sits well below rating. Bedding takes 15 minutes on an empty road, 8 to 10 firm progressive stops from 50 down to about 10, never fully stopping, never panic braking. Then drive 15 minutes without hard braking so it cools evenly, and never sit stationary with your foot on hot brakes, because that prints pad material unevenly and gives you a pulse for the life of the disc. Now 2 fluids nobody services until something expensive fails, and the first one lives under your Nissan truck. Number 7. Differential and transfer case fluid. If you drive a Frontier, Titan, Xterra, Armada, or Pathfinder, you have gear oil in places you've never thought about. And the published intervals assume you never tow, never go off-road, and never sit in sustained heat. Here's what happens. Heat breaks down the extreme pressure additives in gear oil faster than mileage accumulates, and once they're gone, the gear faces make metal-to-metal contact under load, circulating fine metallic contamination that accelerates everything. One summer of towing tells a completely different story at 60,000 miles than the schedule suggests. The trick cost almost nothing, and it's diagnostic. Pull the drain plug at 60,000 regardless of what the book says, and look at what comes out under a light. Dark brown, metallic, or the consistency of used engine oil means a component eating itself, and a $30 fluid change just saved a differential worth thousands. Golden and clean means the schedule is working. Either way, you know instead of guessing. And the same applies to your transfer case. That's the gear oil. The next fluid is one that essentially nobody services until the steering rack fails and the bill arrives. Number 6. The Turkey Baster Power Steering Flush. If your Nissan is old enough to have hydraulic power steering rather than electric, this applies. And it's a component you use on every drive, and almost nobody services. Power steering fluid degrades through heat cycling, oxidation, and contamination from the metal it circulates through. By 50,000 miles with no service, it's dark and carrying particles from pump wear, corroding the rack seals and pump housing. Then the rack fails and it's a 4-figure repair. Here's the trick, and it costs $3. Buy a Turkey Baster. Engine cold, suck as much fluid as you can from the reservoir and refill with fresh. Start it, turn the wheel lock to lock a few times, shut it off, and repeat. 2 cycles exchanges roughly 70 to 80% of the fluid with no special equipment at all. A shop charges $60 to $80 for the same job. That's the cheap fluids handled. Now the computer. And the reason everything you just did might only be half working. Number 5. The proper ECU relearn. Your engine computer is not static. From the day the car left the factory, it's been building adaptive fuel trim tables from what its sensors told it, layering years of corrections on top of each other. Here's the problem nobody mentions. Those corrections were built around a dirty MAF, a choked throttle body, and a clogged filter. Your computer never optimized your engine. It learned to compensate for a compromised one. So you clean everything on this list and the inputs are finally accurate, but the computer is still stacking old corrections on the new reality. You get some of the benefit, not all. The reset is simple. Disconnect the negative terminal, wait 15 minutes, reconnect, and the adaptations clear back to base calibration. Then let it idle undisturbed for about 15 minutes without touching the throttle or the air conditioning, and drive gently for the next 50 to 100 miles while it relearns against accurate data. And do the idle air volume learning from number 16 afterward. Dealers charge $150 and call it a reprogram. Now the last 4, and every one of them is about the single most expensive component in your Nissan. Number 4. The CVT fluid and the counter nobody resets. Ask a Nissan dealer about CVT fluid, and there are documented cases of them refusing to take an owner's money because the paperwork said lifetime. The reality is different. That fluid is a working component generating the pressure that clamps the pulleys onto the steel belt.
Let it degrade and the belt slips and polishes metal off the pulley faces, which is the whine and shudder people describe right before a CVT dies. Nissan's own data calls for 60,000 miles normally, 30,000 under severe service. Use genuine NS2 or NS3, never a universal CVT fluid. Now the part almost nobody knows. Your transmission computer runs a fluid degradation counter, calculating wear from mileage, driving conditions, and transmission temperature. If your shop changes the fluid and doesn't reset that counter, the computer keeps operating as though the old, worn fluid is still in there. Ask for the reset by name.
And the fill level has to be set within a narrow temperature window. So this is a job worth paying someone who knows Nissans to do. Fresh fluid buys you time. The next trick stops the thing that ruined it in the first place. Number 3. Capping the ratio manually. Your transmission is calibrated to reach its tallest, most economical ratio as fast as possible to meet fuel economy standards. And on the flat road, that works beautifully. Put it under strain, a long grade, a headwind, a loaded car, or a trailer, and it starts cycling. Reaching for the tall ratio, failing to hold it, dropping back, reaching again. On a CVT, the belt walks continuously up and down the pulleys under high clamping load, and every cycle is micro-slipping, friction, and a temperature spike. It's the fastest way to build heat without doing anything that feels aggressive. Here's how you catch it. If the engine note constantly rises and falls on a climb, or the tachometer wanders every few seconds, it's hunting. Move the selector to low or manual, or use the paddles, and hold one ratio. It stops instantly, the engine sits in a stable band, and temperatures drop. The instinct most drivers have is backwards. Leaving it alone in drive under load feels kind, and isn't. Taking manual control is the gentlest thing you can do. That's technique. The next one is hardware, and it's the single best few $100s a Nissan owner can spend. Number 2. The auxiliary transmission cooler. Here's a fact that reframes everything else on this list. Overheating is the leading cause of Nissan CVT failure. Not mileage, not driving style, heat. And the factory arrangement is modest because the cooler sits inside the radiator, behind fins that pack solid with bugs, grime, and a winter of salt. Independent transmission shops are blunt. That factory cooler is insufficient for the heat load in many normal conditions. When the fluid gets hot, it thins, clamping pressure falls, the belt slips, and you get the classic sequence of a whine rising with speed, a shudder under light acceleration, and eventually a protection mode on a grade. The fix is an aftermarket stacked plate cooler plumbed in series with the factory one, and shops report it drops operating temperature by 20 to 40 degrees. That's a few $100s against a replacement upwards of $4,000. While you're there, rinse the radiator fins gently from the engine side outward, because blocked fins are free heat you're adding for no reason. And that brings us to number 1, which isn't a repair at all. It's the fact that your Nissan has been quietly keeping a file on you. Number 1. The counters your Nissan never told you about. Here's the thing nobody at the dealership will volunteer. When a Nissan CVT overheats, it does not turn on your check engine light. No warning, no chime, no message. Instead, it quietly enters a protection mode, limiting your RPM and road speed, which owners describe as the car suddenly losing power on the highway, and most of them blame the engine. Normal operating temperature is around 170 to 200 degrees, and by the time a Nissan declares a fault, the fluid is far past where damage starts. But here's the real reveal. Your transmission computer has been recording every one of those overheat events the whole time, logged under parameters called CVT-A and CVT-B. They aren't fault codes, so a basic scanner won't show them, which is why almost no owner has ever seen them. A dealer with the right tool can pull them up and read the entire thermal history of your transmission, including events you never knew happened. 2 things follow. If you're buying a used Nissan, have those values read before you hand over money, because a clean-looking car with a hidden history of cooking itself is a transmission on borrowed time. And if it's your own car, every trick in this video that lowers temperature, the cooler, the fluid, the ratio cap, the clean radiator fins, is writing a better record into a file your car's been keeping all along.